but after that, he just smiles and just keeps on going.
Welcome to the first episode of Everything You Need to Know about running a smartphone repair business. Today, we are going to talk about SEO, or Search Engine Optimization. What is Search Engine Optimization, or SEO for short? Basically, every website on the internet is made. Now, a website is worthless if nobody goes there. You've probably talked to your friends who have made a website, and they probably have made absolutely no money off of that website. Most people think that you could just make a website and the money will roll in, but that never happens. The reason that never happens is because people can never find your website. If they were looking for your website, in this case it would be smartphone repair, what would they do? Most likely, they would just simply go on google.com, type in smartphone repair, and click on maybe the first three choices that pop up. In all reality, they'll probably click on the first two, and if those are sufficient for someone to get their phone repaired, that's it. Most people are lazy. People say that they go and do their research, but in all reality, doing their research means clicking on two selections from Google. That explains what a search engine is and what search engine searches are. Now, what is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization is the work done needed to make your website pop up on Google in the first page when people search for it. Now, if you go on YouTube and type in search engine, that was a poopy. If you go on YouTube and type in search engine optimization, you could find some videos about it. Most people think that if they go on YouTube and watch these search engine optimization videos, they'll be able to learn how to optimize their website on their own. After all, it doesn't cost any money to optimize your website. How do people optimize their websites? Honestly, I don't really know. You have to do stuff with keywords, you have to do stuff with search algorithms, you have to do a lot of boring ass stuff, like really boring things that only people that work for search engine optimization companies can actually do. You could write articles to optimize your website. There's a bunch of things you could do. There's also a lot of things you could do to screw up optimizing your website. For instance, back in the day, the way that people would get people to search is they just would basically splatter all these keywords all over the website. And this worked for a while. Google's algorithm basically said, look for words on website. If that works, then that's relevant. So that's a good website, and that'll end up in the first page. But as Google got more advanced, its robots or people realized that that's a load of crock, and that it's just a bunch of spammers who did this. So basically what happened then was Google developed a new algorithm where they said, okay, these spammy looking sites, we're going to develop a formula to identify a spammy looking site. And every spammy looking site that used to end up on 1 or 2 on the search engine, we'll put it on the 4th page or the 5th page. Why is that important? Well, if you're on the first page, you're going to get a lot of viewers, and because you get a lot of viewers, you'll get a lot of money. So you had a bunch of companies that use these crappy SEO techniques, and because they were using these techniques, they were making a lot of money. But then, literally overnight, they stopped being on the first page. And because they stopped being on the first page, they lost money fast. The formula works like this. You make $5 off a sale, you get 100,000 visitors, only 5% of them will convert. So in all reality, if you had 100,000 visitors, you make 20 grand. If you lose your visitors, now no one's going to convert to a paying customer, and you make no money. That's why it's a big deal. That's why you don't want to do your search engine optimization on your own. The probability of screwing it up is very high. If you spend all your extra time learning how to do it, and then Google does an update, you will be so far behind the curve. People that do search engine optimization have no lives. They are basically nerds. They eat Doritos and they have they wear wife beaters, and they have Cheetos all over their wife beaters because they never leave. All they do is stare at a computer screen. People that do search engine optimization, it's many times disputed whether they have a soul or not. They are probably the most boring people on the earth. Why do they have value? Because they can get people to your website, and they can get people through your door. In the case of a smartphone repair business, this is how it works. People are on Google, they type in smartphone repair, and most likely they'll type in smartphone repair in their town because they're too lazy to drive any farther than 5 minutes. So basically, if you live in East Islip, they'll type in iPhone repair East Islip. They'll look. Maybe the first thing that pops up is Red Hot Repairs East Islip. They say, oh, let me check the website. The website doesn't look that bad. Screw it. I'll just walk in there. That's how they come in through your doors. Nothing is more effective than that, because you start off with someone who actually has a need. They broke their phone. What do? They go on Google. How else would you bring in customers to your store? There's ways you could do it, but it's very difficult. You could have a guy stand out on the street holding one of those signs like those coin places do, or those laundromats do, or those furniture places do, but who knows who converts? Honestly, when was the last time you saw some guy with a sign on the road and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. That doesn't convert well. You could have someone hand out your business cards in the mall, but that sucks. You're going to have to pay them like $50 a day minimum, and you have no idea how many people are going to come to your store. Chances are nobody's going to come to your store, because once again, when's the last time you got a business card or some handout from someone and you're like, oh, that's a great deal? Most likely you won't. Those people are annoying. Nothing is better than Google. You go on Google because you actually have that need, and then you're like, alright, cool. I trust Google. So that's why search engine optimization is so important. Is SEO worth it? Absolutely. Is it cheap? No. Most smartphone repairmen you speak to are not well versed in advertising. They don't really know too much about running a business. What they do know is how to fix phones. It's your job to teach them as much as you can about running a business. The biggest problem they're going to have is getting people through their doors. The best way to do that, without a doubt, is search engine optimization, but they're going to have to pay. How much do we pay a month? We pay $1,000 a month for search engine optimization. Here's why it's worth it. We get about 10 to 15 calls a day from people calling from our website. We use phone.com, and we have multiple websites for all the different sources that come in. So for instance, our number that you find on Google is 555-5555. We put up a Craigslist ad every day. That number is 444-4444. We're listed on Yelp. That number is 333-3333. So, every day, if we want, we could go on phone.com and see all the incoming phone calls. The vast majority of those calls come from the number 555-5555, which is the number of our website listed on Google. By far, we get the most calls from Google. And not only do we get the most calls from Google, we get the best calls from Google. What does that mean, we get the best calls from Google? Well, like I said, we do get calls from Craigslist. But a person buying from Craigslist is very different than a person buying from Google. Why? Let's look at the two decisions. A person cracks their phone. One person says, I need to get it fixed now. I really need my phone fixed. I have a meeting tomorrow, and I can't look bad. Damn it. Crap. How do I get it fixed? I really got to make this meeting. If I don't get this interview and they think that I'm stupid and I'm cheap because my phone's cracked and I don't look professional, I'm not going to get the job. If I don't get the job, I'm never going to get to raise a family, or my kids are going to starve, or that's what's going through their mind. The last thing they think about is price. They quickly go on Google, they see someone can fix it, they say, can you fix it by tomorrow? Thank you, I'm driving over there. Now another person cracks their phone. They say, oh, I broke my phone, but I don't really want to pay any money to fix it. I'm not made of money. Who could do it for cheap? I guess if I go on Craigslist, there's some random sketchy dude, and I know he's sketchy because people usually say that Craigslist is sketchy. I know he'll be sketchy, but I could save money. I'll go on Craigslist. That's what goes through the mind of a Craigslist customer. In the mind of a smartphone repairman, you always want the Google customer. Why? Well, cheap people hang out with other cheap people. People who aren't afraid to spend money usually hang out with people that aren't afraid to spend money. That's one reason. Another very important reason is that cheap people complain more. It's a proven fact. So, from our experience, a guy that haggles about the price with us, and then a lot of times we'll be like, alright, whatever, we need money, we'll do it for less. He'll usually come in and complain that we broke something when in fact we didn't. That happens a lot in this industry. A lot of times people will come in with a broken earpiece, people will come in with a broken audio jack. I'll repeat this again. A lot of times people will come in with a broken earpiece or audio jack and a cracked screen. The repairman won't test the earpiece or audio jack. He'll just fix the cracked screen. He gives it back to the customer. The customer leaves. The customer comes back in and says, yo, you fucked up my phone. You guys suck. You better give me a refund or fix it now. And they'll make a big stink about it. Most smartphone repairmen do not check, so this happens all the time. You'll talk to a lot of smartphone repairmen that say to you, oh, I always check, but in all reality, they probably never check. This happens all the time. So, a lot of customers that don't care about price, they won't make a big stink about it. But the Craigslist guys will, and sometimes they're scammers on Craigslist. They're trying to make money off of non-impressionable people, non-experienced people. That's why you always want to get the Google customer in. Another important thing. No, that's really it. Now, why would a person pay $1,000 a month for SEO? The first easy argument is they're going to get enough customers to pay for that. So basically, it would be, yes, you're going to pay $1,000, but you'll make $1,500 out of that. I'm pretty sure that's actually true. That would happen. So a guy might say, oh yeah, but $1,000 a month, now I'm losing money. That's not true. It probably will bring in enough customers to actually make a profit. Another important argument is that in this industry, word of mouth is so important. we see at Red Hot Repairs that the majority of the customers we get end up being word of mouth. We will get a lot of customers from Google, Craigslist, Yelp. We'll get it from those sources, but the majority of our customers actually come from saying, "My friend told me." It's not hard to get people to tell their friends if you do a good job. The hard part is getting the person to take the leap of faith to trust you with their phone. I mean, repairing your phone actually has a lot of risk in it. A, you could screw up their phone and all of their pictures will be ruined. Sometimes people's phones contain pictures of their relatives that died. Sometimes people's phones contain pictures of an exotic trip they went on that they'll never go on ever again. Also, a huge concern with repairing your phone is people will take your pictures and they'll post it on the internet. This happens all the time in this industry. People have nude pictures on their phone. Next thing you know, some repair guy takes it, he saves it to his phone, and he's passing around nude pictures of you to all their friends. Also, people could just break your phone. You need the phone tomorrow, you don't get it fixed, and now it's more broken than before, and you've just wasted all this money. That's why people won't just trust you. However, if you ask your friend, "Hey, I broke my phone. Did you ever break your phone?" And they're like, "Yeah, I broke my phone, but I took it to these guys. They're really good. I really recommend them." You're going to go to that guy. That's hard to do. But Google will really jumpstart it. For instance, let's just say you get 5 customers a day walking in off the street, and every customer will refer one friend. In month 1, you get 5 customers. In month 2, you get 10 customers. In month 3, you get 20 customers. In month 4, you get 40 customers. Why? Every customer that comes in is referring a friend. Now, if Google gets those customers in, who will each refer a friend, they get you more, now you double. In month 1, actually it doesn't double, it goes exponentially. In month 1 you would have gotten 5, in month 2 you would have gotten 10. In this case, let's just say it gets you 5 more customers. In month 1 you get 10. Month 2 you get 20. That's 20 versus 10. In month 3 you get 40. Whereas you're only getting 15 or 20. Whatever. It just increases it exponentially. You might be like, "Oh crap, you're fucking up the numbers." Just remember, Google, you have to pay for that first customer to come in, but you won't have to pay for all the referrals you create. It's honestly true that the referrals will really create the value down the line. Most repairmen will say still it's not worth it. Why? I don't think I should pay for it. You could just use this story. Beforehand, it was really hard to get our partner to do it. I wanted to get him to do it, but he wouldn't do it. We were kind of cheap in the beginning. We were cheap because we weren't making any money. But we started recycling screens to make a little more money because we could barely make a profit. There was a guy in DC, and he by far always had the most screens. He had so many screens all the time. He literally would get like 600 screens every 3 weeks. I kid you not, he literally got 600 screens. That means he was doing 600 repairs every 3 weeks. That means he was doing 200 repairs a week. This guy got a lot of business. So, I would spend a lot of time there testing these screens. And, we'd talk, and he asked me how much I spent on internet advertising. I told him we don't, and he literally laughed at me. He's like, "You're crazy. You're going to go out of business if you're not doing this." And I said, "Well, how much do you spend?" He said he spent $3,000 a month on advertising. He said he got an SEO guy who was his brother's friend, he knew for a long time, and he ended up being really good. He gets money from being listed on Google first, but he also does Google AdWords. Now, Google AdWords is something very simple. If you look on the side of Google, you're going to see there's ads. They're not Google searches, there's actual advertisements for businesses. Businesses bid on these AdWords. Now, there's a whole bunch of tricks to doing this. And if you do it right, you could save a lot of money and you could be listed in the right spot. If you do it wrong, you're going to waste a lot of money and you're not going to be listed in the right spot. That's why you need someone to manage your Google AdWords account. You will hear a lot of people say that they do it themselves. But in this instance, the jack of all trades, master of none, really applies to it. People who say they're doing their own SEO are full of shit, and they're not doing a good job. Even if they think they're doing a good job, just know they're not. I'm sure about this. SEO and Google AdWords management takes a very long time to do. These people, that's all they do. And if you're doing it as an owner of a smartphone repair shop, you can't be putting in a lot of time. Why? This is a very time-intensive business. You always have to be learning new repairs. You have to deal with people losing screens, people stealing from you, customers claiming that you broke your phone when you really didn't, customers claiming that you broke your phone when you did, repairing phones, ordering parts, not having parts when people come in and they need the phone fixed, and then not ordering those parts and having people not show up to work on time. There's so many problems with this. People say they're doing it, they're definitely not. And that basically concludes today's episode of Everything You Need to Know About Smartphone Repair. Oh yeah, what we ended up doing with that guy in DC is we found his SEO guy, he gave it to us, and it was really good, and honestly sales have never been the same for us. Now, another problem we have is we don't pick up the phone. So this guy gets people to come up to our site. People look at our site, say, "Hey, I want to get my phone fixed." They call the store, and we don't pick it up. How we know that we're not picking it up? We go on phone.com and check, and it's just not happening. That's very hard to do for a small business, is to make sure all phones are being picked up and everyone's getting contacted back. A lot of these guys are going to tell you that, "Oh, we always call back our customers and we always pick up the phone." But they're full of shit. In fact, they're probably not checking. The only reason we do check is that I do that. I don't do it well. And I don't have to fix a phone. Most of these guys fix the phones. If they actually fix the phone, I'm 100% sure they're not putting a lot of work into it. I could keep trailing on, but I'm sure you want to go out and test screen and learn how to build a business from scratch that dominates its market. Why are we going to build a business from scratch that dominates its market? Because it's pretty friggin' boring not to. You could get up to work, go, put in your hours, go home, or you could help build an empire of people buying cracked screens. The choice is yours. Very dramatic, and most importantly, very good.
He said, but after that, he just smiles and just keeps on going.